All right, so
Clutch
we got
Points.
Cedric Ceballos here today, man. How you doing today, man?
Cannot complain, doing real well. It's wonderful Utah weather. It's real crispy, but we're inside, so who cares?
Right, right, right.
Right.
We're here for All-Star Weekend, obviously.
Yeah,
So, how do you just feel about this festivities over the years and like how it's grown
man.
since you've been in the league, like early '90s?
Yeah. I got here in 1990, and I'll try to attend as many as possible. Sometimes I don't really get back when it was in Cleveland and D.C. I got spoiled with the East Coast when I went to the New York one,
Right, right.
and it was cold and slushy. But then Dallas had a snow stint in their All Star break too. So most of the times when it's a close proximity and the weather is not that bad, I usually attend. But it just gets bigger and bigger all the time. One of the things I wish they would bring back is jam session. I just thought that taking over the convention center for fans is just unbelievable. I mean, even the players, we were looking forward to it. Just walking around, not only the shopping, the sneakers, but the interactive games, appearances, the chalk talks,
Yep.
and the games. Sometimes they even have games in there. So, if anything I could bring back, I think they bring that back.
Dope, dope. So, what is like your favorite All-Star memory? You've been going to a lot of them. Do you have something that sticks out?
Uh, yeah, well, it has to be, in '92 when I won the slam dunk contest. That was just real big for me. It kind of put me on the map, so to speak. Some people a household name. I mean, great time in Orlando, Florida. Making the All-Star game in '95 and going back to Phoenix where I played, where I started my career as an All-Star. That was pretty good too as well. Jordan's last. That was huge, man.
It's too many to count.
It's just too many to count, man. It's too many to count. But the one that really stands out is 1992.
Okay. So, give me your top three favorite dunk contests of all time.
Well, one, we're gonna go top to bottom. It's got to be '92 because I was in it and I won it. I got to
Rightfully
give
so.
myself that. But after that, you go, Vince Carter. I think he's just. I mean, and forget about the rest of his dunks. Just the first dunk.
It was already done.
I,
It was
it's,
already over.
I don't care who else was in the competition. It doesn't matter. That one dunk is just legendary, and even though it's been replicated, the drama, the suspense, uh, the atmosphere, it just will not be the same. And I got a toss up between Dominique Jordan in Chicago and and um, and Zach and Aaron Gordon in Orlando. I mean, it
Tough
just
ones.
I just I mean, it's kind of hard to top those two because I mean you got the later times and then you got the modern times. Obviously they took Mike's and Dominique's dunks to a whole nother level, but at that time, what Dominique and Michael was doing was just unheard of and unseen. So then when you get these two individuals that are like, oh, you want a 49? Well, I give you a 50. Oh, you got a 50? I give you a 50 plus. Oh, you got a 50 plus? I'm gonna give you a 50 plus plus. So it was just back and forth. So those got to be my top three, man, right there. Those are just unbelievable.
Right, right. So I see you actually played on the Phoenix Suns finals team that played against Mike. Obviously, you played with Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
Before we dive into that finals, do you have like a favorite notable Charles Barkley story? Because what we see on TV is off the chain, obviously.
Yeah.
So do you have a Chuck story that stands out?
Well, first Charles played with me. I didn't play with Charles. His first day when he got off the plane from Philadelphia after the trade was made, they were just building the American Airlines Center. They hadn't finished it yet, but they had the gym in there, and I'm in there working out. And then he comes to big mouth and all. We're in the bathroom. I'm in one stall, and I hear him coming around the corner. And I played against Charles, but never really met the guy. So he speaks to me and then goes in the stall, and all of a sudden he starts banging on the stall and starts, foul language and cursing and stuff. And I just was like, oh man, I got to play with this guy. And then he comes out while I'm washing my hands and he says, Ceballos, give me $100. And I was like, wait, what? He's like, you heard what I said, give me $100. I'm like, oh man. I'm about to be robbed by Charles Barkley. Like, what's going on? I'm getting punked. So I gave him the $100. He goes back to the stall. He goes back to the stall and throws the $100 in the toilet. So then I was like, what the, dude, like I could, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know you, Charles, and got all the deals and the contracts, but man, what's up with my $100? And then he goes in the commode and gets the $100. And then I'm backing up and he's going towards the sink and he starts washing his hands and he washes the $100 bill. And then he hands it to me and I'm like, dude,
I don't want that.
Dude, I don't want, but it's still $100 bills. And so I grab it like, yeah, what's going on? And then he keeps washing his hands and then he says to me, let me tell you something, young fella. They can call me crazy, they can call me dumb, outrageous, but I ain't stupid. And I was like, okay. He's like, I ain't putting my hand in there for 25 cents, but I put my hand in the commode for $100.25. And he has a quarter in his hand. And I was like, this dude is bananas. Like, really? Like, he got mad because he dropped the quarter in the commode, threw the $100 in there and went after it. So, that's just, it's an intelligent thing, but also a crazy thing, too. A little off the wall. But that's Charles, man.
All right, so obviously you won an MVP that year. That y'all went to the finals.
Yeah.
Went up against MJ.
Yeah.
Seen recently on All the Smoke that he actually said that that's the only dude I'd admit that was better than me. Can you walk me through that series just in general, like the feel of like what was going on?
Man.
Like things just, you had all the confidence in the world and then apparently just kind of, plateaued at a certain point.
Yeah, we our swag was real high at the time, and I think that rightfully so. We had the best record in the league. We had the league's MVP, and then just to get pummeled our first two games, just really could not click and get things right. We had just got Kevin Johnson off of injury. We just could not get things right, and I think we just went in there like, hey, man, it is what it is. We put ourselves in this position, but this dude is on another level. And I think that's what relaxed us, the fact that we just went into Chicago and said, we just going to lay it all on the line and see what happens. And no real game plan, no real strategy. We didn't change anything up. I think we just, the lights, the camera, I think it was the first time for Charles. It was the first time for anybody on our team besides Danny Ainge to see the lights that bright in the finals and the media and the attention. And it just took us 2 games to get used to it. And then, we took 2 games in Chicago and then just couldn't, get over that hump for Game 6. But, I tell you what, he, as much as they want to say, man, Michael definitely had a difference in the basketball game because he's just that type of dude and his caliber of play. And it really boils down to your superstar, what I'm saying, which superstar really shines the most. And Charles is my teammate and I love him, but Michael, just overshined him that series.
Right. So now we're going to get into more lighthearted, more fun stuff. Don't want to take you down that dark path again. But do you have, give me an all-time starting 5 of guys that you played with? You personally, on your team, man, your time in Phoenix.
Okay. Point, Magic Johnson.
Of course.
2 guard, Kobe Bryant.
Easy one.
3. That's a tough one. I'm going to put Charles at the 3.
Ooh, so no 4, you're not playing.
Yeah, I'm going to put him at the 3 because I got to put Dirk at the 4. I got to put Dirk at the 4, and I'm going to put, Big Shaq at the 5 spot. So that's my top 5 playing with me. And then I got Lonzo coming off the bench.
6 man.
You know what I'm saying? I got Lonzo coming off the bench. I got some heavy hitters coming off the bench. So, that's my thing. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, you listed out a lot of, obviously, all those guys are Hall of Famers.
Mm-hmm.
Who'd you have the most fun with on road trips? Obviously, you had Magic, Kobe, Shaq, Chuck, and Dirk.
Yeah.
Who's the most personable guy? Who's the guy that you talk to or put your arm around you?
Yeah, personal. You got to go Charles. He just knew. He had a courtesy about him that he never left people out. Prime example. We're in the finals and we're eating dinner. It's Charles, Michael, it's Jim Brown, it's Walter Payton, it's Michael Singletary. Ahmad Rashad. We got legends at the table. And he goes, hey, It's my teammate Cedric Ceballos, man, and it's just the fact that he stopped everybody to let them know my teammate is here too. Like, that's real personal. But having the most fun, our short period of time. I mean, Shaquille O'Neal is hilarious. Jokes and rapping on the plane and just his Beatles mentality when he walks around anywhere. Whether it's a home game or road game, it's just bigger than life. So I had the most fun with Shaq, but most personally with Charles.
Okay. Last question to wrap things up here. Do you think that your game would be able to translate today? Like, obviously, in the 90s, more slow grind. Now, today's NBA is pace and space. You want to get up as many threes. Like, how do you think you would fare? How do you feel about the era of today's basketball compared to
Yeah. I would be great because I was an up-pace guy. I always said, if Detroit, no offense to Detroit when I went there and played 4 games, but if I'd have got drafted by Detroit, I might not have made the league. I might not have, I'd have had a cup of coffee and left. But the fact that I was in Phoenix and I stayed West Coast mostly my entire career and played on up and down tempo teams, that was my style of basketball. So I think only thing I would have had to adjust, I wasn't a three-point shooter. The ones that I've taken, we needed threes or the shot clock was running down.
situational?
Yeah, situational. I wasn't going out trying to knock down threes. So I would have had to improve my three-point shooting as far as attempts, and I think my percentage was pretty decent. But the up tempo and I would think I would have really flourished on the missed shots. Because so many threes are put up, and I was an offensive rebounding genius. So putting the ball back would have been good for me. So I would have transferred pretty good in this league, and plus, I would have loved the bigger paychecks.
Appreciate your time,
Yeah,
man.
no problem, man. Thanks, man.
Like, well.